Have you ever felt heavy for no reason? Like something unseen is weighing you down, even when everything seems fine on the outside? That invisible pressure, the one that drains your motivation, dulls your joy, and leaves you feeling off without explanation, often has nothing to do with your circumstances. It's your energy, it's your aura, and when it's clouded, your entire life feels foggy. People might not see it, but you feel it deeply. That inner exhaustion, the struggle to connect, the confusion that hangs over your choices. It's not in your head, it's in your field. Your aura is the energy you carry. It holds your emotions, your memories, your pain, and your healing. It's shaped by every interaction, every thought, every belief you've ever accepted as true. The world doesn't just touch your skin, it leaves marks on your spirit. And unless you cleanse what doesn't belong to you, you'll keep carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. Over time, your aura can get filled with fear, shame, doubt, and other people's negativity. You begin to question your worth. You second-guess your intuition. You shrink yourself to feel safe. You forget the power that was always yours. And that's when life starts to feel like a cycle, repeating emotions, repeating situations, repeating pain. But here's the truth. Your energy is not broken. It's buried. And you can clean it. You can return to that lightness you once felt. You can release what's not yours. You can reconnect to the clarity that's been waiting inside you. Cleaning your aura is not just a spiritual idea. It's an emotional reset. It's a mental detox. It's choosing peace over noise. When you cleanse your aura, you don't just feel better, you become better. Your thoughts sharpen, your heart opens, your body relaxes, your path becomes clearer. You begin to attract people and opportunities that match the real you, not the wounded, tired, guarded version of you, but the one that's been buried underneath all the chaos. The reason to keep watching is simple. There's a version of you that's lighter, stronger, and more magnetic than you've ever known. A version of you who doesn't feel drained by others, who wakes up with purpose, who moves through life with clarity, confidence, and peace. That version of you is not far away. It's right here. And as you learn the ways to clean your aura, step by step, you'll feel yourself returning home to that powerful presence. You'll stop absorbing energy that doesn't serve you. You'll stop playing small. You'll stop doubting what your soul has been screaming all along. This isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about remembering what it feels like to walk through life without the weight of everything that doesn't belong to you. Stay with this, because the deeper we go, the more you'll release, and the more you'll rise. This is where your energy shifts. This is where your transformation begins. Not someday, not when you're ready, but now, right here. Let's begin. If your body could speak the truth your words avoid, it would scream about the heaviness it carries. Not the weight on your shoulders, but the burden in your energy. You felt it. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You walk into a room and suddenly feel anxious or drained. You try to focus, but your mind is scattered. You smile, but deep down something feels off. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's a sign your energy is clouded with emotions that don't belong to you, experiences you've never fully processed, and attachments that have overstayed their welcome. We've been taught to clean our homes, wash our bodies, detox our diets, but no one ever told us how to clean our energy. And yet, your aura is your first layer of protection. It's your emotional immune system. And when it's overloaded with unresolved pain, unspoken words, broken expectations, and silent betrayals, you don't just lose energy, you lose clarity. You start living on autopilot, reacting instead of responding, surviving instead of creating. You lose touch with who you are and begin absorbing everything around you. Other people's anger becomes your stress, their doubt becomes your fear, their chaos becomes your anxiety. You wear their emotions like a second skin, and the real you gets buried beneath the noise. But just as the body knows how to heal, your energy field knows how to reset. It doesn't need fixing, it needs clearing, releasing, letting go. When you recognize the unseen weight you've been carrying, you reclaim the power to put it down. You stop identifying with pain and start identifying with possibility. You begin to realize that not everything you feel is yours to carry, and that realization is freedom. Because once you become aware of the difference between what's yours and what's been projected onto you, you gain control over your emotional reality. The burden you feel isn't always about your past. It's often about the invisible baggage you're still holding on to. Guilt you never deserved, shame that was handed to you, expectations that were never yours. Each one forms a layer around your aura, dimming your light, shrinking your presence, and disconnecting you from your purpose. But the moment you decide to cleanse your energy, everything changes. The fog starts to lift. Your chest feels lighter. Your mind slows down. Your emotions begin to soften. And for the first time in a long time, You can hear your own voice beneath the noise. This isn't a surface shift, it's soul-level liberation, and it starts by acknowledging that your energy is sacred, that not everyone deserves access to it, that not every emotion is yours to hold. The more you release, the more you rise, and the more you rise, the more you remember who you truly are: powerful, clear, whole. Let this truth sink in. You don't need to fix yourself, you need to free yourself, and when you do, your aura becomes what it was always meant to be: radiant, strong, and unstoppable. Your energy is the first thing people feel, even before you speak. It introduces you before your words do. It lingers after you leave a room. And when your aura is clouded, even your silence carries confusion. You might try harder to be understood, to be seen, to feel aligned, but nothing sticks, because the message your energy sends is tangled in noise you didn't choose. You can wear the right smile, say the right things, play the right role, and still feel unseen. That's because the real you isn't in your appearance, it's in your vibration. And when that vibration is distorted, your world reflects the distortion. People misunderstand you, opportunities pass you by. The same cycles repeat, not because you're failing, but because your signal is jammed. You can't attract clarity while holding chaos. You can't build peace on a foundation of emotional clutter, and you can't step into the future while dragging the energy of the past behind you. This is where the shift begins, where you stop trying to force external change and start clearing the inner field. When your aura is clean, life starts to respond differently. You don't chase, things flow. You don't beg for validation. You radiate certainty. You don't fight to be loved. You become a magnet for connection. But none of this happens through pretending. It happens through purification. Every thought you think carries a frequency. Every feeling leaves a signature in your field. Over time, repeated emotions, especially the unprocessed ones, begin to stick. They form patterns. They become the default soundtrack playing beneath your every choice. That old resentment, it echoes in your tone. That deep fear, it shapes your decisions. That suppressed sadness, it shows up in your relationships. You think you've moved on, but the energy hasn't. And until you clear it, you'll keep reliving it in different forms. You don't have to carry that anymore. You don't have to keep spinning in the same emotions, pretending you're fine when you're unraveling inside. You can be honest with yourself. You can admit that something feels off, even if you don't have words for it yet. And in that honesty, you open the door to healing. Because you can't clean what you don't acknowledge. Awareness is the beginning of release. The moment you stop numbing and start noticing, you begin to reclaim your power. This is not about fixing who you are. You were never broken. This is about clearing what you were never meant to hold: the weight of unspoken pain, the burden of unmet expectations, the energy of environments that dimmed your light. Let them go, piece by piece, breath by breath. Every release is a return to yourself, a return to truth, a return to peace. The cleaner your aura becomes, the more clearly you'll see, not just the world around you, but the power within you. That clarity will guide your choices. It will strengthen your boundaries. It will shift your entire life. Because when your energy is clean, your path becomes undeniable. When you clean your energy, you don't just feel different, you become different. You think clearer, you speak with more intention, you breathe deeper. The world doesn't seem so loud, and your mind doesn't feel so crowded. You notice the calm between your thoughts, the space between your reactions. That space is freedom. That stillness is power. And it's in that power where you begin to create a life that reflects the real you, not the version shaped by fear, pressure, or past pain, but the version aligned with your truth. The moment you stop trying to manage everything outside of you and begin to regulate what's within you, life begins to realign. Not because it's easier, but because you're clearer. Your aura is the interface between you and the world. Every moment you interact with someone, there's an energetic exchange. And if you don't protect and cleanse your energy, those exchanges leave a mark. Some people take more than they give. Some moments imprint deeply. You carry arguments that happened years ago. You carry rejection that still lingers in your nervous system. You carry shame that wasn't even yours to begin with. These energies don't disappear just because time passes. They sit beneath the surface. They echo in the background. And they influence how you think, speak, connect, and choose. It's easy to believe you just need to push through it, to stay strong, to distract yourself. But suppression is not strength. Ignoring your energy doesn't protect you, it weakens you. It keeps you in a loop of self-doubt and confusion. You start questioning your intuition. You feel disconnected from your purpose. You react to life instead of leading it. But the moment you become intentional with your energy, everything begins to shift. You stop absorbing what doesn't belong to you. You stop overthinking every word, every move, every feeling. You start living from the inside out. You deserve to feel whole. You deserve to walk through life without dragging old wounds behind you. You deserve to experience relationships without fear poisoning your trust. You deserve to live without the constant tension of guarding yourself from the next disappointment. But that begins with release. That begins with energetic hygiene. That begins with your decision to no longer carry what dims your light. Let yourself be emptied of what's no longer serving you. Let yourself be refilled with what nourishes your soul. Your aura is not meant to be heavy. It's meant to be expansive, radiant, and alive. This is your reset. This is your return to center. You don't need more things. You need less noise. You don't need more approval. You need more truth. You don't need to change who you are. You need to strip away everything you're not. The more you release, the more you'll remember. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are energy in motion. And when your energy is clean, you no longer chase alignment. You become it. The moment you choose alignment over attachment, your entire vibration begins to rise. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you are no longer carrying what doesn't belong in your spirit. You're no longer holding on to emotions that have expired. You're no longer clinging to beliefs that were never truly yours. The weight begins to lift, not all at once, but layer by layer. And with each layer that falls away, you start to breathe again. Not just with your lungs, but with your soul. You remember what peace feels like. You remember what clarity sounds like. You remember what it means to feel connected to yourself. This is the power of cleansing your aura. It's not about escaping life. It's about returning to it with strength, presence, and intention. Your energy field is constantly interacting with the world. Every place you go, every person you meet, every thought you allow, adds something to your field. Some things uplift, others weigh you down. You might not always see it, but you feel it. That sudden drop in mood after spending time with certain people. That heaviness you can't explain after scrolling for hours. That emotional fog that clings to you even when nothing went wrong. These are all signs that your aura is collecting residue, energetic clutter that dulls your awareness and blocks your flow. But here's the truth that changes everything. You are not powerless against this. You are not stuck. You are not cursed, broken, or lost. You are simply filled with noise that can be cleared. You are holding on to energy that can be released. And every time you make space, every time you breathe, pause, reflect, and let go, you bring yourself closer to your authentic vibration, the one that speaks clearly, the one that feels strong, grounded, and true, the one that doesn't need to prove, perform, or pretend, the one that simply is. There is a level of clarity waiting for you beyond the noise, a level of peace you've only tasted in moments, a sense of self that doesn't come from what you achieve or who approves of you, but from knowing you are energetically aligned with your truth. That clarity isn't found in the outside world. It's accessed through stillness, through intention, through energetic hygiene. You don't get there by adding more. You get there by releasing more. Less distraction, less guilt, less emotional clutter. And the less you carry, the lighter you become. Let this be your reminder. You are not here to be weighed down by the world. You are here to rise, to expand, to evolve. Every time you cleanse your energy, you sharpen your vision. Every time you let go, you step deeper into your purpose. There's nothing wrong with you. You've simply been buried under layers of what isn't you. Peel them back, strip them away. Your light is still there. And once your energy is clean, it won't just shine. It will radiate. You don't need to force healing. You only need to allow space for it. Beneath all the overthinking, beneath the tension in your chest, beneath the emotional weight you've carried for years, there is a natural intelligence within you that knows how to restore balance. But it can't work in chaos. It can't speak through noise. It can't flow through a blocked system. Your aura, like your body, needs to breathe. It needs room to release. It needs silence to reset. The more you clear, the more you feel. And the more you feel, the more you heal. You've been taught to hold everything in, to stay composed, to be strong by suppressing what hurts. But energy doesn't disappear. It stores. It lives in your body. It lingers in your field. It piles up until the smallest triggers bring it all crashing down. That's not weakness. That's overload. Your energy was never meant to hold years of unexpressed emotions, unresolved trauma, and unmet needs. It was meant to flow, to move, to release. That heaviness inside you is a message, not a flaw, not a failure, a signal. A quiet call from your inner world, asking to be seen, felt, honored, and freed. There is no shame in needing to reset, no guilt in needing space to cleanse. You are not here to carry the emotional residue of everyone and everything. You are not responsible for the weight others refuse to release. You are not required to absorb what poisons your peace. Boundaries are not selfish, they are spiritual maintenance. Every time you protect your energy, you reclaim your clarity. Every time you choose to pause, to breathe, to disconnect from noise and reconnect with yourself, you create a moment of cleansing, a return to stillness, a return to strength. Your energy is sacred. It's not meant to be scattered, not meant to be stretched thin by endless distractions and demands. The more intentional you become with what you allow into your space, the more powerful your presence becomes. Not loud, not forceful, magnetic. Because when your aura is clean, people feel your peace before you even speak. They feel your boundaries without you having to explain them. They feel your clarity, and it invites them to rise without you needing to pull them. That's real power. Quiet, rooted, undeniable. Let yourself soften. Let yourself surrender. You don't need to hold it all together. You don't need to carry yesterday into today. You don't need to protect an identity built on survival. You are safe to let go now. Safe to release what you've outgrown. Safe to become who you truly are beneath the noise. Every breath is a doorway. Every moment of stillness is a reset. Every release is a rebirth. You don't need more answers. You need less interference. You don't need to chase peace. You need to clear the space where peace already lives. And when you do, you'll remember what it feels like to truly be you. Unburdened, untangled, and fully alive. The breath is your anchor. It is the one thing you carry through every moment, every emotion, every storm. And yet, it's the first thing you forget when life gets loud. You hold it without knowing. You tighten your chest. You clench your jaw. You live in a silent tension, trying to stay in control, unaware that you're cutting yourself off from the very force that brings clarity. Your breath is not just air. It is your energy in motion. It is your body's natural reset button. And when used with intention, it becomes a powerful tool to cleanse your aura and bring you back to your center. You cannot think your way out of energetic heaviness. You cannot overanalyze your way to peace, but you can breathe your way into presence. You can soften the grip of anxiety. You can interrupt the momentum of panic. You can use breath as a bridge, from chaos to calm, from confusion to clarity. With every conscious inhale, you draw in life. With every exhale, you let go of what no longer serves. Stress, fear, guilt, resentment, all of it can be released through the breath. Not in theory, but in practice. Not all at once, but one breath at a time. Most people live shallow, breathing from the top of the chest, always bracing, always anticipating. But true cleansing begins when you drop into the body, when you let the breath deepen, when you stop rushing and start receiving. In that stillness, something shifts. Your nervous system begins to calm, your thoughts start to slow, the noise fades, and what's left is presence, real presence, the kind that can't be faked or forced, the kind that aligns your mind, your body, and your energy field into one coherent state. You don't need hours of silence. You don't need a perfect environment. You just need willingness. A few moments each day to breathe with purpose, to feel your body, to connect with your energy, to release the static that has built up from stress, overthinking, and emotional overload. You deserve those moments. You owe them to yourself. Because without a clean, grounded energy field, everything feels harder. You overreact. You misinterpret. You feel overwhelmed by things that shouldn't even affect you. But when your breath becomes your practice, you gain power. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that regulates, the kind that centers, the kind that heals. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond repair. You are simply waiting for a moment to reconnect. Let this be that moment. Let this be your return to simplicity, to your body, to your breath. Inhale peace. Exhale the pressure. Inhale clarity. Exhale control. Inhale truth. Exhale doubt. Every breath is a cleansing wave. Every breath is a step home. Keep coming back. You are not lost. You are here. You are healing. You are remembering. And with every breath, your aura becomes clearer, stronger, and more aligned with the power that was always yours. Your energy doesn't just live inside of you. It extends outward, wrapping around your body like an invisible shield. But over time, that shield becomes dull. It absorbs too much. Pain from the past, stress from the present, tension that builds with no release. And when your aura becomes heavy, your mind follows, your emotions spiral, your body tightens. You start to feel disconnected from life, disconnected from yourself. This is why cleansing isn't optional, it's essential. And one of the most powerful ancient ways to reset your energy is through the elements, starting with water and salt. Water is not just a physical cleanser, it is an energetic conductor. It holds memory, it carries intention, it responds to emotion. And when used with awareness, it becomes a sacred tool for purification. Every drop that touches your skin can carry something away. Every rinse can symbolize release. A simple shower becomes more than a routine. It becomes a ritual, a sacred act of washing off the energy that is not yours to keep. You feel it in the way the tension begins to melt, in the way your thoughts start to slow, in the way your body begins to breathe again, even without trying. And salt, pure, grounding, ancient, holds the power to draw out the energy you can't name, the energy that sits beneath the surface, the kind you don't have words for, but still feel in your chest, in your stomach, in your soul. A salt bath isn't just relaxing, it's releasing. It pulls what's stuck, it softens what's hardened, it opens what's been shut down, and in that moment, you're not just sitting in water, you're being held, you're being supported, you're being reminded that you are safe to let go, safe to be clean, safe to start again. You don't need a complicated process. You don't need expensive tools. You need presence, intention, a willingness to stand under water and let it all fall away, a willingness to sit in stillness and allow the salt to do what your mind cannot. You are not just cleaning your body, you are clearing your field, you are reclaiming space, you are renewing your frequency. And with each ritual, your aura begins to glow again, not just brighter, but cleaner, stronger, more aligned with who you really are beneath the pain, the noise, and the pressure. This is your reminder that healing doesn't always come through effort. Sometimes it comes through surrender, through trusting that nature knows how to support you, through remembering that water has always been a mirror, reflecting your need for flow. Salt has always been a purifier, reminding you that you are worthy of release. Let it go. Let it wash. Let it cleanse. You don't need to hold on anymore. You don't need to carry what your soul is ready to drop. Allow the elements to do what they were created to do. Let the weight dissolve. Let your energy breathe. Let your aura be free. The energy you carry is often shaped not by what's happening around you, but by what you haven't let go of within you. It's the buried emotions, the suppressed pain, the silent memories that never fully pass through. You tell yourself to move on, to be strong, to forget, but your body remembers. Your aura remembers. And every unprocessed feeling becomes a layer, dulling your light, tightening your chest, clouding your clarity. You don't heal by ignoring the weight. You heal by meeting it, fully, honestly, without judgment. Emotional detox is not weakness, it is strength. It is self-respect. It is choosing to no longer carry what was never meant to stay. Resentment poisons your energy slowly. It convinces you that anger is control, when it's actually a chain. Guilt eats away at your self-worth, convincing you that you owe a debt you were never meant to pay. Fear wraps around your vision, shrinking your dreams until they feel like burdens instead of callings. These emotions are not flaws, they're signals. They're messages from deep inside, telling you where the energy has become blocked, where your truth has been silenced, where your soul is asking for release. You don't overcome them by force. You release them by facing them, by feeling them, by finally letting them move. Let yourself feel, not to suffer but to free yourself. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the anger rise without shame. Let the sadness speak its name. These feelings are not here to break you. They're here to pass through you. You are not your resentment. You are not your guilt. You are not your fear. You are the one witnessing them, and the one who can release them. Your aura doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be honest. Vulnerability is how the energy shifts. It's how light begins to enter again. Sit with yourself. Breathe into the heaviness. Ask your body what it's still holding. Ask your heart what it's still grieving. Ask your energy what it's still protecting you from. And listen, not to judge, not to fix, but to understand. When you give your emotions permission to exist, you give them permission to move. And when they move, your aura clears. Your mind lightens. Your heart opens. You feel real again. Whole, untangled, present. You are not here to carry pain forever. You are here to learn from it, to release it, and to rise. Every time you let go of what hurt you, you make space for what can heal you. Every time you forgive, every time you feel, every time you stop running and start releasing, you return to the clarity that has always lived beneath the chaos. That is the power of emotional cleansing. It's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's the moment your energy stops echoing your past and starts speaking your truth. You are safe to feel now. You are safe to let go. You are safe to become free. When energy becomes stagnant, it begins to echo. It loops in your mind, clings to your body, and dulls your spirit. What you don't move, you begin to carry. and the longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. That's why motion matters. Energy was never meant to stay still. It was meant to flow, to shift, to evolve. When you deny your body the right to express, you deny your aura the chance to breathe. You become a container of what should have been released long ago. Movement breaks that pattern. It unfreezes the emotions trapped beneath your skin. It brings breath to the places inside you that have forgotten how to expand. Your body is not just physical, it's emotional. It holds stories, it holds memories, it holds truth. Every step you take, every stretch, every shake, is a signal to your energy field that says, I am ready to let go. I am ready to open. I am ready to return to flow. And in that movement, healing doesn't feel like a task. It feels like a remembering. You remember your rhythm. You remember your freedom. You remember that you are not stuck. You're just still. And once you move, even a little, your power begins to return. This isn't about performance. This isn't about appearance. This is about liberation. It's about standing in your own space, on your own terms, and letting your body lead for once. It knows where the pain is. It knows what needs to be released. It doesn't need choreography. It needs permission. Permission to sway, to stretch, to breathe, to move through the emotions that words can't explain. You can't talk your way out of heaviness, but you can move through it, with grace and intention, until it no longer controls you. Every time you move, you shake off layers that don't belong to you. You release the pressure that silence buried. You open a channel for your energy to rise again. And the more you move with presence, not for anyone else, not to check a box, but for your soul, the more magnetic your aura becomes. Because what's real always radiates. You don't need to explain it. You just need to embody it. Let the body become the release. Let the movement become the cleansing. Let your energy find its rhythm again. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. Your healing doesn't start later. It starts now. Stand up. Breathe deeper. Feel your feet on the ground. Let your body speak. Let your spirit respond. The more you move, the more you remember. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are power in motion. And the more that power flows through you, the more your aura clears. The more your energy awakens. And the more your life aligns with the strength that was always living inside of you. Keep moving. Keep releasing. Keep rising. What you put into your body becomes part of your energy. Food is not just fuel. It's frequency. Every bite you take carries a vibration that communicates with your cells, your thoughts, your emotions. When your aura feels heavy, sluggish, or scattered, it's not always your environment. Sometimes it's what you've been feeding your body. Highly processed foods, artificial ingredients, and emotional eating patterns cloud more than just your health. They cloud your energy. They dull your intuition. They slow your momentum. They build layers around your clarity. You begin to crave things that numb you instead of nourish you, and that disconnection becomes your new normal. But your body knows. Your energy knows. You can't fake alignment. The cleaner you eat, the cleaner you feel. Not perfect, not obsessive, just aligned. Aligned with the natural rhythm of your body. Aligned with what energizes, not what drains. Whole foods, living foods, water-rich foods. These don't just support the body, they clear the field. They stabilize your emotional state. They sharpen your mental clarity. They raise your vibration without you even realizing it. Because when your cells are nourished, your energy expands. When your gut is balanced, your mind becomes quieter. When your body is light, your spirit becomes louder. But this isn't about restriction. This is about respect. It's about choosing foods that respect your energy, not challenge it. Choosing presence over autopilot, gratitude over guilt, awareness over avoidance. When you slow down and listen to what your body truly wants, you'll stop reaching for things that numb your light. You'll begin to feel the difference between comfort and suppression, between nourishment and escape. And that awareness is what breaks the cycle. That awareness is what resets your relationship with food, not as punishment but as power. You don't need a perfect plan. You need intention. You need to come back to your body and ask, what would serve me right now? What would help me feel alive? What would bring me back to clarity? And when you choose what honors your energy, your entire system responds. Your aura begins to glow. Your thoughts become cleaner. Your emotions become more balanced. You stop reacting and start creating. Because your energy isn't fighting against your habits anymore. It's working with them. Let food become part of your ritual. Let each meal be an act of alignment. Hydrate with awareness, nourish with compassion, eat with reverence. Every choice you make is a message to your body. I care about my energy. I respect my vessel. I am ready to live from a place of clarity and strength. You don't need to chase wellness. You need to clear what blocks it. You don't need to control your body. You need to collaborate with it. And when you do, your aura becomes a reflection of your inner care. clean, clear, alive. Let every choice bring you back to that truth. Let every bite support your light. Your environment speaks to your energy, even when you're not listening. Every object, every sound, every corner of your space holds a frequency. If your surroundings are filled with clutter, your mind begins to mirror it. If your space feels stale or chaotic, your aura absorbs that message. You start feeling blocked, unfocused, restless for no clear reason. But it's not random, it's a reflection. Your outer world is feeding your inner state. And when you ignore your space, your energy becomes weighed down by what you've allowed to pile up around you. The invisible heaviness starts to shape your thoughts, your emotions, and even your sense of self. That's why cleansing your environment is not just about cleaning, it's about reclaiming your energy. Every item you hold onto that no longer aligns with who you are becomes a silent anchor to the past. Every drawer full of unused things, every pile you've been avoiding, every dusty corner you haven't touched, it all holds energy. And that energy stays active until you decide to release it. When you clear space, you create room for your aura to expand. You begin to breathe easier. You feel lighter, clearer, more grounded. The energy begins to move again. You stop feeling stuck because your space is no longer reflecting stagnation back at you. Cleansing your environment is an act of self-respect. It's how you tell yourself, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of clarity. I am worthy of a space that supports who I am becoming. This isn't about aesthetics, it's about alignment. It's about looking around your home and asking, does this reflect the version of me I want to be? Does this uplift my energy or drain it? Do I feel safe and empowered here, or distracted and depleted? These questions bring you back to presence. They help you reconnect to the power of your space as an extension of your soul. Even subtle changes make a difference. Opening windows, letting in fresh air, rearranging furniture to invite more light and flow, removing what no longer serves a purpose. Infusing your space with intention, through scent, sound, or simply your awareness. It's not about how much you do, it's about the energy you bring to it. Every action says, I choose to live in a space that supports my light. I choose to create an environment where my aura can breathe freely, expand naturally, and recharge fully. You are constantly exchanging energy with your surroundings. That exchange either uplifts you or depletes you. You get to decide. You don't need more things, you need more clarity. You don't need perfection. You need intention. When your environment reflects peace, your nervous system relaxes, your energy recalibrates, your aura becomes magnetic. Clean space, clean mind, clear aura. What surrounds you shapes you. Choose to surround yourself with what brings you back to your essence. Let your space become a sanctuary, and your energy will begin to rise from within. Stillness is where your aura remembers who you are. In a world built to pull you in 1,000 directions, silence becomes more than rest. It becomes a revolution. Most people never stop long enough to hear the wisdom inside them. They're too busy running, proving, achieving. But beneath all that noise is a quiet place that holds your truth. When you allow yourself to slow down, when you make space for silence, your energy recalibrates, your nervous system softens, your thoughts grow quiet, and your aura begins to realign. The clutter clears, not just from your space but from your mind. You don't need to chase clarity, you need to stop drowning it out. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing, it means becoming fully present. It means letting go of the need to control every moment. It means surrendering the urgency and allowing your soul to speak. You won't hear it through distraction, you won't feel it through chaos. You find it when you stop trying to fix everything, and finally allow yourself to just be. And in that being, your energy becomes clear. Like still water, you begin to reflect your true self again. The franticness fades, the fog lifts, what's real rises to the surface. Most people fear silence because they've never learned how to sit with themselves. But avoiding yourself never leads to freedom, it only deepens disconnection. The silence you fear holds the healing you seek. It holds the messages your intuition has been whispering all along. The answers are not somewhere outside you, they've always lived within. You just need the courage to listen, and the patience to wait. When you create even a few minutes of intentional stillness each day, your aura begins to heal. The energy you've scattered in 100 directions slowly returns. The emotional static fades. Your body relaxes. Your breath deepens. Your mind opens. This is where real power is born. Not in hustle, but in alignment. Not in chaos, but in calm. When you meet yourself in the quiet, you start living from your core instead of your conditioning. You stop reacting. You start choosing. You begin to move from intention, not impulse. Stillness is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's how you clean the residue of stress, fear, and overstimulation from your field. It's how you come back to your inner compass. The world may not slow down, but you can. You can reclaim the sacred pause. You can step back into your power by stepping into your presence. And from that grounded presence, your aura begins to glow. Not because you did more, but because you did less with greater meaning. Let stillness become your reset. Let it become the breath between decisions, the space between thoughts, the moment where healing happens. Your energy doesn't just need movement, it needs rest. Not empty rest, but nourishing stillness, the kind that brings you home to yourself, again and again, until your aura becomes an unshakable light. You are not lost. You are simply buried beneath everything you were never meant to carry. Doubt, shame, expectations, resentment, pressure. It piles up slowly, silently, until it weighs down your soul. And when your energy feels heavy, it's not because you've become weak. It's because you've forgotten how to release what isn't yours. Every thought you absorb from others, every emotion you suppress, every mask you wear, it clouds your aura. It dims your spark, but your light is still there, waiting. Healing starts the moment you realize you don't have to hold it all. You don't need to carry the past. You don't need to carry people who won't carry themselves. You don't need to carry stories that were never yours to begin with. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the sacred act of returning to yourself. Because your energy is sacred. And not everyone deserves access to it. You don't have to explain your peace. You just have to protect it. You don't need permission to choose yourself. You only need the courage to release what's been poisoning your joy. Too many people are waiting for closure, waiting for apologies, waiting for someone else to set them free. But freedom doesn't come from the outside. It comes the moment you decide your energy is too precious to waste on anything that drains it. You cleanse your aura by making space. Space for truth, space for peace, space for growth. This isn't about escape, it's about alignment. When something doesn't feel right, it usually isn't. Your body knows, your soul knows, your intuition whispers, even when your mind tries to rationalize discomfort. Listen to it, trust it. It's not paranoia, it's wisdom encoded in your energy. And when you honor that voice, you reclaim the clarity that's been buried under years of noise. It's okay to walk away from what no longer resonates. It's okay to outgrow people, patterns, and places that no longer reflect your worth. Growth is not betrayal, it's evolution. And your aura evolves with every decision you make that aligns with your truth. When you start shedding what doesn't serve you, you become lighter. Not just emotionally, but energetically. You breathe deeper. You think clearer. You move with purpose, not pressure. And your energy begins to expand. Letting go isn't a one-time act. It's a practice, a daily choice to cleanse, to reset, to renew. It's not about perfection, it's about permission. The permission to stop carrying what's breaking you. The permission to choose peace over pleasing. The permission to become who you really are without apology. Every time you choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, self-worth over self-sacrifice, you clean your aura, you rise, you return, and little by little, you become the version of yourself you were always meant to be. Whole, clear, powerful, untouchable. Cleansing your aura is not only about release, it's also about remembrance. You're not here to merely survive the weight of the world. You're here to radiate. But to radiate, you must reconnect to your own source. That place deep within you, where your confidence isn't borrowed from approval, where your joy isn't waiting on outcomes, and your self-worth isn't held hostage by comparison. It's already within you. But when your energy is tangled with fear, when your identity is shaped by judgment, when your inner voice sounds more like a critic than a guide, you forget. You begin living through filters, not your own power, not your own presence, just expectations, noise, pressure, performance. That's not living, that's pretending, and your soul knows the difference. The truth is, your energy is always speaking, not through what you say, but through what you tolerate, through how you show up when no one's watching, through how you treat yourself when you're tired, alone, overwhelmed. You teach the world how to treat you by the way you treat your own spirit. If you abandon your needs, others will too. If you ignore your boundaries, others will step past them. If you silence your inner wisdom, the world will drown it out. Cleansing your aura means becoming radically honest about what you're allowing, and why. It means asking yourself, what am I still accepting that's costing me peace? Every time you say yes when you mean no, a crack forms in your energy field. Every time you suppress how you feel just to keep the peace, you betray the most sacred part of you. And over time, these small betrayals add up. You begin to feel disconnected, numb, lost. But you're not broken. You're just overdue for reconnection. And the reconnection begins with truth, not the version you think people want to hear, but the one that burns in your chest and won't stay silent any longer. The world doesn't need a more polished version of you. It needs the real you, the raw you, the version that breathes fire and speaks life and lives without apology. Because that version isn't fragmented, that version isn't drained, that version is whole. And the moment you decide to stop abandoning yourself is the moment your aura begins to glow again. That glow isn't just visual, it's energetic, it's felt, it's remembered, it's magnetic. People may not know why they're drawn to you, but they will feel the shift. And you will too, not because you forced anything, but because you finally chose alignment over approval, truth over comfort, growth over fear. That's the moment healing begins. Not through effort, but through surrender. Not through perfection, but through authenticity. And that authenticity, that deep, unshakable alignment, is what clears your path and illuminates your power. You don't find your light, you remember it. You don't need to chase your light. It's not somewhere outside of you, waiting to be earned or discovered. It's already pulsing in your chest, even when you forget it's there. You just need to stop dimming it. And the way you stop dimming it is by letting go of what taught you to be small. Every belief that said you were too much. Every moment you felt like you had to shrink to be accepted. Every memory that made you question your worth. These are not truths. These are wounds. And wounds don't define you. They ask to be healed. Your aura isn't dark because something is wrong with you. It's dim because you've carried too much for too long. Not just responsibilities, but emotional weight that was never yours to carry. And the body remembers. The energy holds it all. When your aura is clouded, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've absorbed what you were never meant to keep. The judgments, the noise, the pressure to be something other than yourself. But now, you get to choose again. You get to stop performing and start being. You get to stop chasing perfection and start reclaiming your wholeness. You get to ask yourself, who was I before the world told me who to be? Who am I underneath the layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning? That version of you is not lost. That version is alive, waiting, ready. Your job is to come home to it. The process isn't about fighting the darkness. It's about choosing light again and again, even when it feels unfamiliar, even when it feels like you don't deserve it. Because healing isn't something you wait around for. It's something you rise into, by saying no to what depletes you, by saying yes to what expands you, by surrounding yourself with energy that nourishes your soul instead of draining your spirit. You cleanse your aura not by doing more, but by releasing more, releasing shame, releasing guilt, releasing the fear of being misunderstood. That fear has kept you hidden long enough. Your presence is your power. But you can't embody presence when you're constantly distracted by the expectations of others. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't made to hustle for your worth. You were made to radiate truth. And that truth is magnetic. It doesn't need to convince. It doesn't need to chase. It simply is. And when you live from that space, fully aligned, fully awake, your aura becomes a beacon, not just for yourself, but for others. Your light gives others permission to find theirs. That's why this work matters. That's why cleansing your energy isn't selfish. It's sacred. Because every time you rise, you lift the frequency of the world around you. Not by force, but by example. By being the one who remembered their light and chose to never dim it again. You don't need to wait for a special moment to begin your healing. That moment is now, right here, in this breath, in this stillness. The mind will tell you that you're not ready, that you need to do more, be more, fix more. But the truth is, the only thing you need to do is allow. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to release. Allow yourself to rise. Your aura responds to what you permit. When you stop resisting your emotions and start honoring them, you create space. Space for clarity. Space for peace. Space for alignment. And in that space your energy begins to purify. You cleanse by choosing stillness over chaos, silence over noise, truth over performance. That choice can be quiet, but it's revolutionary. Every time you pause to breathe instead of react, your aura strengthens. Every time you speak what's true for you, even if your voice trembles, you reclaim power. And every time you stop apologizing for your existence, you realign with the frequency of freedom. This is not about pretending to be healed. This is about honoring the process. Showing up raw, real, and willing. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep showing up for yourself with honesty and grace. Your energy doesn't lie. It reflects what you believe about yourself. So when you shift your beliefs, your vibration follows. If you've been carrying the belief that you are unworthy, that belief has colored your entire aura. If you've been telling yourself that you're too broken, that narrative has become your energetic signature. But beliefs can be rewritten, and when you rewrite the story, you change everything. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, feel differently, because you're no longer carrying the weight of lies. You're embodying the truth of who you are, and who you are is radiant. Protecting your aura is not about closing off. It's about becoming selective with what you allow in. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every environment deserves your presence. You are allowed to walk away from anything that disturbs your peace. You are allowed to protect your frequency like it's sacred, because it is. The more you honor your own energy, the more clearly you see what doesn't belong, not out of judgment but out of discernment. That discernment becomes your compass. It keeps you aligned. It keeps you clear. It keeps you powerful. The more you clean the clutter within, the brighter you shine without. And the brighter you shine, the less you tolerate dimness. You don't go back to what broke you. You bless it, you learn from it, and you move forward, stronger, clearer, lighter. Your aura isn't something you find. It's something you reveal. And as you strip away the illusions, what remains is brilliance, not created, remembered. And in that remembrance, you become untouchable, not because life stops challenging you, but because you stop abandoning yourself. This is your power. This is your return. This is your light. When you start to trust your inner knowing, everything begins to shift. You no longer search for permission outside of yourself. You stop asking the world to validate what your soul already understands. That shift is not loud, but it is life-altering. It whispers, but it echoes through every cell in your being. It reminds you that clarity doesn't come from noise. It comes from alignment. And alignment begins the moment you decide to stop abandoning your own truth for the comfort of others. There is nothing more powerful than choosing your own energy over external approval. You begin to see that healing isn't about fixing a broken self. It's about remembering that you were never broken to begin with. The cracks you thought were flaws were openings, gateways through which your light was always meant to shine. When you stop hiding those parts, when you bring them forward with courage, you become whole, not perfect, whole. And wholeness has a resonance that clears your aura without effort. It's not something you try to achieve. It's something you embody through authenticity, through fierce honesty, through the willingness to be seen without filters or masks. Your energy cannot lie. It speaks louder than your words. It announces your presence before you enter a room, and it lingers long after you've gone. When you align that energy with your truth, you become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because you are no longer repelling yourself. That internal war ends. The judgment ends, the shame dissolves, and in its place, self-respect rises, not from ego, but from deep remembrance. You stop chasing peace because you've realized peace was always within. You were just too distracted by external noise to hear its voice. Boundaries become sacred acts of self-love, not walls to keep others out, but filters to protect what is sacred within. You no longer compromise your energy just to be liked. You no longer shrink just to be accepted. You rise, you expand, you radiate, and the more you do, the more your aura becomes a force of clarity. It no longer absorbs the energy of others, it reflects it back with truth. It becomes a mirror for what is real, and a shield against what is false. That is the power of alignment. That is the power of choosing yourself. Every time you choose to sit with your emotions instead of suppressing them, you purify your aura. Every moment you meet your fear with compassion instead of judgment, you transmute that energy into light. Every breath you take with intention becomes an act of reclamation. This is not about bypassing your humanity. This is about embracing it so completely that your spirit becomes unshakable. Your glow doesn't come from how much you've healed. It comes from how deeply you've accepted yourself through the process. That acceptance is the gateway to power, the kind of power that doesn't dominate, it liberates. And through that liberation, your true light begins to lead. True strength is not found in how much you carry, but in how much you release. Letting go is not weakness, it is mastery. It takes courage to detach from the familiar pain, to walk away from patterns that feel safe but suffocate your spirit. The moment you stop gripping what drains you, you create space for what nourishes you. And in that space, your aura breathes. It expands. It clears. It awakens. You begin to notice that freedom was never about running. It was always about returning. Returning to the self you buried beneath the noise. Returning to the essence that never needed fixing, only remembering. Each time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you say yes to your power. You reclaim pieces of your energy that were scattered through compromise, fear, and doubt. You gather yourself, not through force, but through clarity. That clarity sharpens your focus, lifts your vibration, and recalibrates your entire field. You no longer ask life to be easier. You ask yourself to become stronger, clearer, more aligned. And with that mindset, obstacles no longer feel like punishments. They feel like refining fires, not here to break you, but to burn away what is not you. There is a sacred peace that comes when you stop rushing, when you realize that your pace does not define your worth. Growth is not measured by speed, it's measured by depth. And depth requires presence. Your aura becomes clearer every time you slow down enough to hear your inner voice. The one that doesn't shout, doesn't panic, doesn't compete. It simply knows. And when you honor that knowing, your energy begins to lead your decisions. Not your fear, not your past, not your triggers. Your truth. That's how you become unshakable. It's not about constantly achieving, it's about consistently aligning. Aligning your actions with your values, your words with your heart, your choices with your vision. Every moment you do that, you raise your frequency. Not just for yourself, but for everything around you. Because when your energy rises, you give silent permission for others to rise too. You become a reminder, a reflection, a force, and you don't need to say a word. Your presence speaks louder than any performance ever could. This is what happens when you stop living from the outside in and begin living from the inside out. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop proving and start becoming. The external no longer dictates your internal state. You anchor within, and from that anchor you radiate. You no longer seek light, you embody it. You no longer seek worth, you live it. You no longer chase healing, you become it.